I'm back. Yeah, I just remember what I was going to say. Um, you see, the reason I can do these hangouts or these live streams from starting from 1 p.m. Monday through to Friday is that I'm retired. You see, you have many privileges being retired, and this is one of them. This is something I've just wanted to try um, for no particular reason. I just thought it's there, it's available to me, and I'll give it a try. And who knows what might happen. Now, I'm still a bit confused with what goes on here. I've just clicked present to everyone, and it says you are presenting to everyone. I just thought the live stream you present to everyone anyhow. But as I say, I'm virtually totally new to these live stream events. I've watched a few, and there's one in particular I'd like to watch. It's from one of the YouTube channels I subscribe to, Tony Northrup. He's a photographer and a very intelligent man too. His presentations are always informative. I don't understand a lot of what he goes on about. Even though I've been sort of a photographer since my late teens, so I'm 67 now, so that's about 50 years. But with today's cameras, the technology in them is mind-boggling, especially like someone like me. And even though, as I said, most of what he says is gobbledygook, it's all got interesting gobbledygook nonetheless, because I can pick up a tip here and there by watching him. You have to excuse me, I've got a lolly in my mouth because my mouth's very dry. Yeah. But I can highly recommend Tony Northrop channel to you. He's always got very informative uploads, and he's very articulate. He's very eloquent, and he quite often presents the virtual tutorials on brand new cameras that come onto the market, and he takes you through every function of the cameras. Most of those tutorials go from on average around 50 minutes, and he's a good channel to subscribe to if you're thinking of buying a new DSLR, and because of the way he presents these things, he's got the camera in hand, and he takes you through every function on the camera. And I once commented and asked him how did all that stuff just come out of his head, poof, like that? And he said, yes, his head was full of stuff like that, and I'm not surprised. I did a bit of research on him, and I think he was voted Geek of the Year in 2000, and he's written, I think it is 32 books. I mean, I'm in awe of the man. I really am. I mean, he's only a young man and obviously very successful, but I can highly recommend his channel to you. I subscribe to about 100 channels all up. A lot of them are a tutorial. They present tutorials on how to do this, that, and the other. But because I do a bit of welding, and I'm not a welder. Let me get that point across. I'm just someone who welds. I'm self-taught, but I subscribe to quite a few welding channels. Chucky2009, he's a terrific young fella. He's got his uploads are always interesting, and if there's something I want to do in a welding job I've got to do, and I don't know, I'm not sure exactly how to do it, I can just get onto one of these tutorials, because that's the beauty of YouTube. I mean, any subject from A to Z is available to you with these wonderful tutorials. Now, I've uploaded a couple of welding videos on some projects I've done, but it's only been a couple, because I leave that sort of thing to those who are far, far better than me. Like I said, I'm just someone who welds. I'm not a welder. And someone like Chucky2009, he's a young fellow. I think he just turned 21, and he's got a wealth experience for someone so young, and well worth getting onto his channel. TIG Time is another channel I subscribe to. It's a very professional type of channel, and there's a chap hosted called Mr. TIG, and because I only bought a TIG welder not too long ago, I find his channel to be very interesting, because I'd often read that TIG welding is the hardest form of welding to do, and it is. Take it from me, it is. It's a whole new ball game. It's totally different to stick welding. I mean, with stick welding, you know, you just get out your welder, you put in your stick, and away you go. But with TIG welding, you're welding with an electrode and a filler wire, and of course you have a shielding gas, argon. And like I said, it's a totally different ballgame. The biggest problem I found was that even though I thought my work was totally clean, it wasn't. And cleanliness of the material being welded when it comes to TIG welding is of utmost importance. I had nothing but trouble. And then I found out through one of the tutorials, in fact, it was Chucky2009, who always wiped down his work after he wire brushed it with what is it? Fingernail polish. What is it? What's the damn stuff called? Acetone. And yeah, that makes a difference. I mean, with stick welding, you can get away if there's a little bit of rust on the surface. Although I always make sure I grind the metal to be welded to a shiny surface. But that's just not good enough with TIG welding. You've got to virtually sterilize the surface. It has to be super clean. Excuse me. But that's the beauty of YouTube tutorials. Because for the tyro, for the beginner, they're a godsend. They really are. There's nothing you cannot learn on YouTube tutorials. Nothing at all. My wife recently, and I think I mentioned this before, wanted to learn how to do Bavarian crochet stitching. And I said, get onto YouTube. I said, you're bound to find a tutorial there. You're bound to find a video. And she did. And there was a woman on there who uploaded these videos, and she just took my wife step by step through every process, and before you know it, she was away. Bob's your uncle. See, there it goes again. The mind goes. Just goes. What can I say? Oh, dear. Oh. Well, as I look out the window of my shed here, it's looking at the skies all back free of cloud. There's a little bit of cloud out over the Coral Sea, South Pacific Ocean. There's a little bit of a fluffy cloud meandering along, but otherwise, I look around the sky, I can see it's completely free of cloud. It probably won't last long, because what happens here is it's in the afternoon. As I said before, this is well, we're getting to the tail end of the wet season. But what happens is the storms, they generally move in each afternoon, usually coming from the southwest. We had another one yesterday. Didn't drop a lot of rain, only 3 mil. But I think the storm itself moved further north up towards Grafton, which is about 80k north of Coffs Harbour. But yeah, as I said, this is the rainy season. It's also the storm season, and you can expect that. But it's a shame that the country New South Wales isn't getting the rain we've had here. We had 516.5 millimeters in the gauge in February, with 20 of the 28 days wet. And today we've got, to date, today is the 16th of March. There's a total of 205 millimeters for the month. So, you know, this is only the 16th. We've still got another 15 days to go. Who knows? We might get close to February's rainfall. We might even surpass it, because we had two major rain events here a few days ago. I uploaded a video about it, and I tell you, I think it dropped 135 millimeters all told, only in a matter of a few hours. And we had absolutely torrential rain here. The street where I live, it was just a river. It was flowing. I had to go out to check the side of the house because the water was rising a bit, and we got a little pump there for such an occasion. I had to start it up, and then I went out the front, and it was to check our garbage bin. We put our garbage bins out on the Thursday. It was a Friday that this happened, Black Friday, the 13th, and I couldn't see my garbage bins anywhere. We got the garbage bin, the green waste bin, and the green waste bin was lying in the middle of the road upside down. Oh, no, sorry, it was on its side. And there was another one only a few metres away from across the road. So I had to wade out into the water that was over ankle high and retrieve our green waste bin. And you see, the green waste bin, for those who maybe wonder what I'm talking about, it's a recycling for all green waste. Cuttings and prunings and grass clippings, all these sort of things. And it goes to the main council depot, and it's converted into soil and mulch and that sort of stuff. But anyhow, I had to pull our bin back onto the curb, and then I retrieved the other person's green waste bin, and then I turned around. My wife was standing underneath the carport, and I said, "Where's our garbage bin?" And she said, "It's over there." It was in the next street over from us, and it was lying in the middle of the road there. It had been washed away. So I had to wade through these flood waters and retrieve that bin and bring it back home. But people go on about all the time about climate change, but I think it's a load of baloney. I honestly do. I think all these people who are really going on about this just haven't lived long enough to experience the extremes in weather over the past 60 years or more. Excuse me. And if they did take the time, rather than opening their flappy mouths, and flapping their gums, they'd realise that there really is nothing unusual about this sort of weather. I mean, Australia is the driest continent on the face of the planet. And droughts are commonplace here in this country. And so are flooding rains. So are heat waves. So are, even to some degree, degrees of cold. I mean, it's just the way it is. Records are there to be broken, and they always will be broken. But all these going on about climate change, well, they just don't know what they're talking about. To me, it just seems natural that that the ocean would rise. It's the evolution of the Earth. It's evolving all the time. I once said to my wife, I just wonder, say, 1 million years ago, what was the mass of Australia? I mean, we're something like 3 million square miles, which is about 5 million square hectares. But the ocean is relentless. It bashes up against an enormous 14,000 length shoreline, kilometre length, and it just keeps eroding away and it keeps collapsing into the ocean. So this continent of Australia must be smaller now than it was 1 million years ago, 10 million years, 100 million, 1 billion years ago. So it's only natural that the ocean is intruding further and further in. And there are some areas here near Coffs Harbour where houses have been built close to the ocean, and they're roughly a sandy clay base. And I suppose there was 30, 40 years ago when they had big backyards. Well, because of the action of the ocean and the seas, well, their backyards are diminishing quickly. So some of the houses have to be evacuated, because the ocean's just ripping away all the sand and the clay, and before too long the house will collapse into the sea. So, and what do you think? It's the council. Did the council ever think about that 30, 40, 50 years ago? No, of course they didn't. It's only a today thing. Well, but it's a tragedy, isn't it? I mean, you build your dream home close to the ocean, if you have a penchant for the ocean, and only to see that that ocean that you love so much is now on the verge of devouring your dream home. It's really sad. I have immense sympathy and empathy for those people. But of course, the council now looks at such developments long and hard these days, and I think it'll come to the time when they won't allow future development so close to the ocean. Oh dear. You are presenting to everyone. All right. Hello, everyone. Now, what is it? Oh, it's 1:32. It's amazing how time flies when you're having fun. And look, I really haven't got much more to say. As I say in my description, that I come on at 1 p.m. and I stick around for as long as it is to say what I have to say. And I think I've said all I need to say at this particular time. So I will call it quits. And I will go and nuke myself a mug of tea. I will come back down here to my shed office. And after I finish my tea, I will maybe get stuck into some welding jobs I've got to do. I was hoping the chronograph that I ordered a few weeks ago would arrive today, but it hasn't. They promised it by the 17th. Well, that's tomorrow. So I should have it tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to getting it because I'm going to record and upload some videos chronographing 2 of my air rifles. I can do that in the backyard. No worries. And because I've always been interested to see what the actual muzzle velocity of my particular rifles are. I've been a hunter and shooter for 50 years, and numbers have always interested me. I've always been good at numbers, and I've always been interested in ballistics. And when I bought my 243, it's a Churchill English made built around the Mauser 98 action. Winchester stated that the 80 grain pointed soft point scooted along at 3,300 feet per second and had a muzzle energy of close to 2,000 foot-pounds. I've always been dubious about that, very dubious. So this is one of the main reasons I bought the chronograph. And when I go bush for the winter, the coming winter, and I visit my friend on the land and then my cousin who's on the land as well, I can do all the sort of testing I want to do with absolute impunity. Whereas if I went in the backyard here and let loose with a 243 round, I'd have the police on me in no time at all. And of course, you know what would happen then. All my firearms would be confiscated, and I would use my shooter's license, and that would absolutely devastate me. So I've got to wait until I go away. But I will be doing a video or videos on the air rifles, on the 2 air rifles, and I'm just going to then we'll check my results with results in ballistic tables, and we'll just see what happens. Okay then, my friends, until next time, all I can say is thank you for watching if you did watch, and until next time, bye for now.